moves and the vibe in the locker room. So I was talking earlier with Eric Crocker on his show, on his morning show, and I had trouble articulating this, but I think that the vibes this season make me feel like they're gonna go to the Super Bowl and maybe win it, right? Doesn't the team as a whole feel so much more like in unison? They have one vision. They're not getting asked about should this quarterback start? Should this quarterback start? They're all they all seem very together. They seem kind of angry, almost like, we want to prove you wrong. We hear the noise that we're the team that keeps almost getting there and not uh making the jump, and we're going to show you now that we're going to make the leap. So I've noticed that. I've noticed I the Niners put out like some of the game footage from last game, and Hardgrave was saying like in previous teams that he's been in, he's had a lot of trouble connecting with people, and that it's taken him a while to get close. And he was like, I love you guys. Like I feel like right away I connected with you guys, and I just get that vibe. I feel like the offense is together. Kyle Shanahan is so behind Brock Purdy, which is I feel like I've mentioned that a bunch, but it's so shocking if you meet someone and they like have always. I feel like Kyle has always like low key just hated his quarterbacks. So it'd be like me. I'm a big chocolate ice cream lover, and I don't like vanilla. It'd be like all of a sudden I was always talking about how I don't like vanilla, and then one day I try a certain brand of vanilla ice cream, and I'm like, I love this brand of ice cream. It's so good. I feel like that's Kyle. I mean, had to be the worst example I could have given, but I feel like Kyle is just so smitten with Brock. He's going to press conferences, talking him up. He went on KMBR and said that it was like one of the best, or not even one. He said it was the best 49ers quarterback he's had, that they had the best connection. Brock Purdy, in his interview earlier this week, said that Kyle comes to him with play calls and asks like, okay, how do you feel about this? And are you comfortable with running these? And they work that out together. I mean, you've never heard of that type of collaboration with Kyle and his quarterbacks. If anything, last year you heard Jimmy saying, your plays suck, man, and everyone had their opinion on how he was utilizing Trey Lance, and Trey Lance even came out in an interview with the Cowboys saying kind of that he was grateful to be with the Cowboys because it was the first time in a long time that he felt like the coach was really paying attention to him and like giving him one-on-one advice, which makes sense when you're the third string quarterback. It's hard to get that. But when I heard those comments from Trey, when you look back at everything that Jimmy has said and the way that Jimmy and Kyle have talked about each other, you can tell that their relationship was extremely contentious. And then you look at the way that Kyle and Brock Purdy talk about each other, and they seem so happy to have found each other. And I have my reservations with Purdy. I enjoy really mobile quarterbacks with strong arms, but I'm like slowly becoming won over by him. Um, he's just he escapes pressure really well. He seems to make pretty good decisions. He does have a lot of turnover worthy plays. But I think a lot of that could be because of how much he was blitzed last week. He's extremely lucky. But this isn't on a do I like Brock Purdy tangent. This is just me saying that Kyle choosing his guy, liking it, them being so smitten together. The locker room seems to have like came around Brock Purdy as their leader, and they look at John Lynch. They look who brung in Hardgrave, which I think in hindsight was the best offseason trade. I mean, they've been bringing so much pressure in the middle this year. I think that that's a huge improvement from last year with Kinlaw and Armstead being injured last year. Now having Hardgrave and Armstead being healthy, they've been so powerful. That's another reason I just cannot see the Cardinals winning, is because James Conner doesn't have a chance against this. And I mean, that's why. No, I haven't heard Drake Jackson's name in a while, so maybe he'll get some sacks. He was definitely benefiting that first game when he had 2 sacks. I think he was like leading the league in sacks for a second there. It was just because the Niners had like played first, but that was definitely because of all the pressure that Hardgrave and Bosa are making with Armstead as well. So I think that all the players, they see that the Niners went all in. They see that, we have CMC to start the year. We're not missing something. We have Hardgrave right now. Our defense is 100%. We have a quarterback that we're all behind. Like there's no chaos, there's no like distractions. Like I feel like this is a very focused group on their goal. They want to start out hot, and they're starting out really hot. So I think that that is just something that I noticed. I was kind of comparing. I was trying to see like I wondered. Like I wish I was like a media member because I would love to go in and see like is the vibe more like a 2019 vibe? Like does it seem more determined? I think once doubt in Jimmy was like pretty obvious, I think that that kind of divided the way it divided fans for sure, and I also think it divided players, and I think it caused some like unsteadiness within the locker room, and I just feel like that doesn't exist this year. And I think that that probably is contributing to how well they're playing. And I wasn't sure if that's just like a fan thing, like do vibes really matter? But I asked Eric Crocker about it, who was in the NFL, and he said that it does matter. And when there's chaos going on, that you hear it, and obviously you're going to still try to play good because you can go to a different team next year or whatever. You don't want to just suck, but it does affect you. And I think that we can see that it did affect the Niners, and with, not with always starting out slow. And now this year they seem so unified in their goal to come together and win. And they have so many non-selfish, extremely talented players. You could break all these guys up and they would be the number one guy on any team. So I think it's really cool that the Niners have so many of those guys. But they're paying for him. That's why they need Purdy, because he's so cheap. I'm going to check the comments really quick because I have two of them. Good lighting, doing great. Hard to believe it's your first. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. I always click away from the comments because I'm easily distracted. So I don't want to get too lost in them, but I appreciate the support. Okay. So Hardgrave was great. I definitely think the Niners are going to win. They seem way more unified. I do hope. Okay, this is going to be a side note. I don't think I have a little. Yeah, I don't have a little banner for this, but I do think, as I was saying, I think for wide receivers, that if they held out Debo, that it could be way more of an IU Kittle game, and that even Ray could come in because once again he did so good at taking over that Debo role when Debo was injured last year.